Hey guys, let's talk about how I rescued my financial life on this live video today. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bits and pieces about my financial journey, but I'm also going to give you some real solid solutions to real money problems, and how to turn your financial situation around and fast, right? Through four things, four areas really: money mindset, money management, money mainstays, and also money multipliers. Now, I'm going to get into what each of those things are throughout this video, guys. And we are live. If you want to drop a comment, feel free to. I'll more than likely answer questions and have a conversation with you guys. If you want to make a statement, give a shout out, feel free to do that. Stay away from guys when you talking about money. Let me just first things first. Stay away from people that think money is a bad thing, because money is not a bad thing necessarily, guys. Right? Wealth is not a bad thing, right? Someone once said to me, they said, what I teach and talk about is not good for average people. And I said, you're 1,000% right. What I want to talk about and teach about is for people that want to be above average and don't want to be like everybody else and don't have just the desire to be normal like everybody, right? If you want to be abnormal, cool. Stay tuned to this video right here, because that's what we want to talk to, is the people that want to be different and want to be above average and want something more out of life. And that's what we're talking about here, guys. If you want abundance and more out of life, great. Stay tuned, right? This is gonna be like a mini seminar. We're gonna be on here for a little while, guys. It's gonna be like a mini workshop almost, right? To provide you guys with real money solutions to the things that plague many of us so much. And I say us because I was once a part of that. People that just wasn't quite sure where to go, didn't have any money, was poor, broke, etc. So, most people have money issues. A lot of folks do, and can use some help with their money. And that's what we're here for today, guys. I'm going to be looking up at the camera, reading comments and all this stuff at the same time, guys. So bear with me if I'm not directly looking in the camera. All right. So with that said, again, guys, feel free to drop a comment. Please subscribe, like, and share as I got going across the bottom of the screen. And let's just have this conversation, guys. All right. Now, the first thing is this: money mindset. Okay. So I'm going to give you a bunch of things to think about, guys, in terms of how to better your financial situation. So, the first is money mindset, right? What is your personal philosophy about money? What do you think about money, right? If you haven't, if you haven't intentionally figured out, or at least thought about how you think about money, then you probably think about money the way you were taught to think about money. I mean, because it takes some intentionality to change the way we think about money, right? If you were taught that money is bad, and you shouldn't talk about it, then you probably think money is bad and you shouldn't talk about it, right? If you were taught that business is good and you watched your parents have a business and money is okay and good, and you always had conversations about money around the dinner table or wherever, then you're probably thinking the same things about money today, right? Unless you intentionally change the way you think about money, you're going to think how you were taught about it. So think carefully about what I'm going to say here, guys. Where you are with money today, right now, is a result of what you have thought about money all of your life growing up to this point, unless you, again, intentionally changed the way you think about money. Now, if you're broke, it's because of how you think about money. And I say that because we're in a an environment, right? A society where there's so many different ways to get money, so many different ways to make money and earn money. And if you have a lot of money, it's because your mindset is conducive to producing a lot of money right now. If you're an adult, now if you're 18, 19, you're still a kid. But if you're 45 years old and you have a lot of money, it's because you must have done something here to first say, okay, think about and be intentional about getting money. So it all really starts in your mind, guys, because how you think really produces how you act, and ultimately what you do, and what you do ultimately produces your outcomes and what you have. But again, it's all about how you think. So the first thing you got to do is go back. The first thing you want to do, if you want to attack your money situation, money problems, and deal with your money issues, is you have to figure out and deal with how you think about money, right? What do you think about wealth? What do you think about poverty and being poor? What is your thought process about that? Do you think poverty makes you closer to being holy and pure, and wealth is somehow evil? That's a real thought process for a lot of people, right? That's a narrative that is literally stuck in the minds of a lot of people, that they think being poor puts a person on a higher moral ground somehow, right? Than people that are wealthy or have money, or they think that everybody that has wealth must have done something to oppress someone else in order to get that wealth, right? Or everybody that's rich, that has $1 million net worth, let's say, must have done something evil to get it, right? People actually believe that, right? And then people think like that. And if you think like that, then you're probably going to always struggle with money, because no one wants to become the thing that they despise, right? If you despise wealth and you despise money, you'll probably stay broke and poor because you won't have, or try to have, or want to have money, right? But most of us, you know, 100% of us in my mind don't have an assignment to be poor, right? That's not the assignment. The assignment is not poverty on your life and you're just stuck there. I just don't believe that. I believe that we are designed to be prosperous and to have things, right? And not just things, but be wealthy in all ways, not just material, right? Because there's other ways you can be wealthy. But again, it's all about how you think. You need new information. We're still on mindset here, guys. You need new information, right? Because one of the things you want to do is start to form your own philosophy about money and be intentional about how you think about money, right? And form a way of thinking about money that's conducive to you having more money, right? New stuff has to enter your mind and your brain. You've got to think differently. You got to attend the seminars. You got to buy and read the books. You got to go to the workshops. You got to join the Facebook groups or watch the YouTube channels or the IG hashtags if you're on social media, right? Which you obviously are because you're watching me. But you've got to take in the new information like you're taking in this new information right here on this video and begin to form your own philosophy. Now, not a philosophy. Let me say this about a money philosophy. You don't want to form a money philosophy that just justifies the same bad behavior with money that made you broke or that got you poor or left you poor in the first place, right? Don't form a new philosophy that justifies you not growing and you not doing some of the things you do. You want to form a new money philosophy that is conducive to you actually building some wealth, right? So that you can lead to different outcomes with your money. So the other thing to think about in terms of mindset is abundance. Now, I'm talking about mindset first because I think mindset is really one of the absolute most important things to change your money situation, how you think, right? You got to have an abundance type of mindset, right? There's enough resources. Here's how I think. There's enough resources and success and good stuff out here for every single one of us, all of us. There's no limited resources that say, oh, there's only so much to go around. No, I believe there's plenty to go around for all of us, right? An abundance type of set, right? I don't believe people are supposed to be broke, as I said earlier, or supposed to be poor and living in poverty or living paycheck to paycheck or on the struggle bus your life. I just don't believe that is how we are designed to be as human beings. So change that mindset. If you have that mindset, I'm not mad at you, right? A lot of us grew up in poverty like me. I grew up in poverty, and a lot of people had that mindset, right? But you can't live a positive financial life with a negative financial mind, right? The two just don't go together, right? So if you want to have more, you have to begin to think that there's plenty out here and that you deserve it, right? You deserve to have more and that you're not supposed to be poor and broke, right? Another thing about mindset is this, guys. Understand that you're not ever going to have money if you're living and making money decisions in fear, right? This is what grips a lot of people who are in poverty or poor. They have a fear of either a fear of success, they have a fear of making more money, a fear of making moves, a fear of stepping out on the limb, a fear of trying something different, right? Don't be scared to take some calculated risk with money, right? Now, I'm not talking about cryptocurrency or gambling your money away or playing the lottery. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about investments, right? Trying something new with money, learning a new skill that may add to your ability to get wealth, right? And just stop letting fear grip you, right? Some a lot of people, that the fear of failing stop them from trying, even when it comes to money, right? I know people that they won't invest in the stock market because they're nervous about their money and they don't want to see it go down, so they rather put it in a bank, right? Well, if that's you and that's what you're scaring yourselves out of future wealth is what you're doing, right? But when you make, if you make a financial move that's researched, that's calculated, and it's wise, you're fine, right? You can still make some calculated risk with your money and still be fine, right? But if you get money and you clutch it and you hoard it and because you have a fear of losing it, you're going to lose it, right? Simple inflation. You put it in a savings account at the bank and you make 0.0002%, or you make a half a percent on the money. And now inflation is at 2 and 3 and 5% per year. You're losing your money when you clutch it and hoard it and grab it and put it under a mattress, right? So you have to be willing to let it go to grow, right? Just invest wisely, release it so that it can turn into double and triple. Money is supposed to make more money, right? Of course, there's other things that should be done with money, right? And we'll talk about a lot of those things in this video. But money is supposed to make more money. It's not just supposed to sit there dormant, right? Because you're nervous or you're scared, right? If you can get that in your head, get the fear out of you, and be willing to take some risk with your money, you can begin to understand that money is just a tool, right? It's just one resource, right? It's just one type of currency, right? It's not the end all and be all of wealth building, right? And that sort of brings me to another point. There's many, many, many wealth building tools. Money is just one of them. Okay. You can actually, you can actually start to build wealth with things that don't have anything to do with money, right? That aren't money, right? Um, Other tools of wealth and tools of wealth building, a big one is time, right? Time is a big, big piece of building wealth, right? If you're young, or if you have, even if you're older and you have some time, you have some ability to get wealth. Network, who your friends, who you're around, right? Who you associate with, who is in your network of people that you deal with and help. As we all know, guys, it's not always about what you what you know, or all. It's a lot of times it's about who you know, right? We know that, right? Another tool or currency of wealth is a peace of mind, right? Health is a big piece of your wealth, right? What good is a lot of money if you're in poor health and poor condition, and can't enjoy it, right? Or can't do things that you want to do with it. Safety is a currency of wealth building, or a tool of wealth. Self-esteem, integrity, dignity, character. Those are tools of wealth, right? If you have good integrity and good character and you're around the right people, you'll never go hungry, right? Because you'll always be taken care of, because people tend to take care of people with good integrity, good character, good heart, etc. So those are all tools of wealth. The ability to organize, right? And you may ask, well, how's organization a tool of wealth? Have you ever, let me give an example. Have you ever met a person who doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't make a lot of money, but always seems to have money? Maybe it's a grandmother you had when you were young, or a great grandmother, or a grandfather. You look at them, they don't make very much money, right? 20,000, $40,000 a year, but they tend to have a lot of money all the time. Well, they were good stewards over their finances. They were good organizers of their money. Organization is a wealth building tool, right? Your ability to manage and steward and organize your money is a way to have more money, right? So wealth doesn't have to start with a bunch of money. There's other things. Of course, there's things like we all know of, like equity and equipment and properties and machinery, right? Those are all pieces, tools of wealth as well. So the point is that money is only one of those tools, right? But When you're poor and you're in poverty, people think, well, money is the most important thing of all time. Man, I got to get this money. I got to get it. And you're so worried about money that you're leaving all of the other wealth building tools on the table and not utilizing them. Right. But if you want to change the way you think about money and you want to change your financial situation, you got to put other tools of wealth to use before you have money, right? And one of the big tools of wealth is how you think, right? And so you got to start putting the right attitude, right? Learning the new information. Like I mentioned earlier, you got to start putting these other things in place before you start tripping so heavy off the money when you don't even have no money, right? But you got to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody didn't have a parent or grandparents that had a bunch of money they passed down or gave you this or gave you that. I didn't start with any of that stuff, right? But I had to say, okay, what are some other things I can start with? And one of them was how I think, my attitude, getting the right information, understanding the importance of networking, right? All these other things, getting the right education in general, right? Getting an education in some area that I could use to turn into wealth down or money down the road. All those things are important, guys. Now, the other thing about money mindset, and I want to talk about real quick on this, guys, is that you are responsible for your own money. Okay. You are responsible for your own success or lack of success. Right. So you are responsible for what happens to you, not the government, right? Not whoever's the president at the time, not where you come from, your neighborhood or your suburb, not your parents, not your grandparents, not the weather, not the state that you live in, the laws, the policies, the rules, the mayor, none of those things, right? This is huge, right? Because the person in the mirror is who dictates most of what happens to you, right? Especially when it comes to money. Now, I was broke until I was 30 years old. And when I say broke, I define it as my net worth was negative $30,000 at the age of 30, right? And so I had a negative net worth. It wasn't because of anybody else, right? Sure, I grew up poor, but it's not my parents' fault when I'm 30 years old and I'm still broke, right? It was because of me. I couldn't change my situation until I understood my role in the situation, right? I couldn't get better with money until I admitted to myself that I was bad with money, right? I couldn't do different until I made the decision that it was all on me. I had to own that in order to change that. And here is the revelation, guys. The revelation about your mindset and thinking is that responsibility is power, right? Anyone who allows you to blame other people or blame other circumstances, that's not your friend. Okay. They're doing you a disservice and they're robbing you of the power of personal responsibility. And I know personal responsibility is not a very attractive word, right? Nowadays, right? But the reason responsibility is power is because basically responsibility gives you the choice to change, right? Without the dignity of having the choice to fix whatever situation you're in, your hope, your future, your life, everything is going to be in the hands of somebody else or something else, right? Without having, if you don't have the dignity to be able to change, then the rest of your life is going to be dictated based on what happens outside of you, right? And that leaves you powerless, right? So if you can't fix it and you have to rely on the government or you got to rely on the city councilman or we got to rely on policies and rules and laws, or if you got to rely on something else to fix your situation, then you have no power and you have no ability to change your situation, right? So responsibility, when you say it's all on me, now you have the power to make changes. Responsibility is power. And people that tell you differently, they're telling you something wrong, right? And I'm not making any political statement. I'm not making any type of stuff. I'm just telling you the absolute truth about responsibility. Nobody else fixed my situation. I didn't go from negative $30,000 to a seven-figure net worth today because I was relying on or focused on or blaming somebody else. I had to look in the mirror. And as soon as I began to look in the mirror, my situation changed. right? Because your situation don't change until you change. That's the key. That's why responsibility and accountability is so important, right? These aren't buzzwords that necessarily are real popular nowadays, but they're very, very important for people to know, right? Next thing. So that's mindset, right? It's all about how you think. When you change that right here, everything's going to change around you, right? So listen, the next piece is money management. And this is really broken down into four pieces, right? Mindset first. Money management is the second piece that I want to talk to you guys about that really helped me change my situation and turn things around for myself, guys, and rescued me, right? Um, Feel free to drop a comment. Thanks, Miss RM Perez. Thanks. Super disciplined and resourceful. Grandparents taught you. Fantastic. I appreciate the comment. So, money management, right? Let me give you some things about money management. First of all, I believe that management problems are huge. People overlook the discipline of managing money, of being a good steward over their finances, right? And management is something that I think a lot of us take for granted. Okay. Now look, I realize the cost of living is crazy right now, right? Inflation was up to 9.1% last year. Huge, right? Biggest in 40 some odd years. Now it's still at 5 and 6%. And I talk about the economy a lot on this channel. And so I totally understand that, wages are not keeping up with inflation over the last, 20, 30, 40 years, right? Inflation is high, et cetera. I totally understand the economic conditions that surround us, right? I get it, right? I totally get it. But I believe that management of the money you have is key and it's overlooked a lot. And I want to give you some things to think about in terms of managing your money. The first thing is goals. Okay. If you don't have goals, make it a plan of yours today, tomorrow, next week, or as soon as possible to develop some written goals about what you want with money, right? Goals are going to help you get organized, and goals are going to help dictate your habits, right? And your goals ultimately, they really do this if you stick to them. They help you make decisions about money, right? If you have a certain goal and you say, well, does that really line up with my goals and where I want to be? It's going to help you say, yay, nay. It's going to help you figure out, well, who should I? It's going to help you figure out who your friends should be. Well, they're not going in the same direction. We think a little bit differently about maybe I shouldn't, boom, boom, boom. Your goals are important. Your goals are a roadmap for you to follow to get to where you want to go financially, right? Your goals have to be specific and they have to be measurable, right? Three parts to a really good goal: vision, and the vision is the big picture, right? What do you really want, right? I ask that question to people, and a lot of people can't answer that. That very, very basic elementary question: what do you want with money? People be all over the place. Well, I want this. I'm not sure if I want that. You need to determine what you want. Okay, that's very important. Big vision. The second piece to making goals is the goals themselves. They have to be specific, not too many. Please don't make yourself 10 financial goals. That's too much, right? When you focus on 10 things, nothing's going to get done. You focus on two, maybe three goals at a time, right? Only a few goals. And those goals, when we're on the second part of goals, those goals have to be measurable and have some time associated with them, right? So your goal can't be, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 50, right? That's too vague, right? Your goal has to be, I want my net worth to be $1 million at the age of 50 on July 1st, 20, whatever it is, right? Specific, measurable, focused. So the first part of goals is vision, big picture, vision board, however you want to do it. Second piece is measurable goals that have time associated with them. And then the third piece is you got to have action steps, right? What good are making goals if you don't have specific things that you do on a daily basis or a weekly basis or sometimes even a monthly basis to reach those goals, right? So your action steps help you reach the goals, and your goals help you reach your vision, right? And they all work in sync together. And always look back at your goals to see if you accomplish what you set out to accomplish, and make tweaks and changes, etc. Now, another thing I want to talk about in terms of managing money is budgeting. Okay. Again, we're talking about managing money, being a good steward over your finance. A good, solid written budget is very, very important. Now, I calculated it a couple of days ago. I've done 368 straight budgets in a row monthly since August of 1992 when I went out to became a junior at a college, and I went off to college. I did my first. It took me 4 years to get a 2 year degree at a community college that I paid for, but then I went off to get a college degree as a junior at a larger school, a 4 year school, and I got my own apartment. Since August of 1992, I've done a budget every single month. No joke. 368 budgets in a row, right? And believe it or not, I credit a budget with helping me learn and stay organized with money and telling my money what to do. Today, I do a budget on Google Spreadsheet, right? Back then, up until 2018 or so, 2019, up until that time, I was doing budgets on a notebook, piece of notebook paper, right? Or in notebooks, and or sometimes I would do them in ledger. For some of those years I did them in those ledger books, with the cardboard front and back, because it's not really about how pretty it looks, how beautiful it looks. It's just about getting stuff down on paper so you're organized and you're telling your money what to do. So I'm a firm believer in the power of a budget, because it's all about organizing your money and controlling your money, telling your money exactly what to do, when to do, how to do, etc. I want to control the money. I don't want the money controlling me. I don't want bills controlling me. So do a unique written budget every single month. Spreadsheet. You don't have to have a fancy template that you download from some website that charges you 20 bucks. No, you can just make your own on a spreadsheet. Matter of fact, I have a video on there. I'll link that video down below. But it's real simple. You just, jump on, find a spreadsheet and start organizing. And your budget may look different than somebody else's budget, and that's cool, right? Not a big deal. This is what you have to work with, but it's yours, right? Again, doesn't have to be anything fancy. Income, expenses. Just record those things on a monthly basis and tell the money what to do. And it can be a zero-based budget. Now, a zero-based budget means that you spend every single piece of dime you have before the month begins. You spend it on paper before the month begins. That's a zero-based budget. Now, zero-based budgets is something that you'll hear talked about maybe in the construction industry. You'll hear in the business world, right? And you can adapt that to the finance world, right? Because that's how they do zero-based budgets in a lot of different areas, right, of life, right? But budgets are like cleaning up a cluttered room, right? A budget is like when you walk into a room that's sloppy. Imagine, I used to watch a show on TV called Hoarders, right? I don't even know if it still comes on, but they would walk into somebody's house and the person would be, they have some issues that they're dealing with, and the place would be horrible. Everything be scattered everywhere, and boxes piled up high, and you couldn't even see anything. You couldn't see a straight line for 5 feet in front of you. But after the crew would come in and clean all that up and take all this away, all this stuff, and next thing you know, the house or the room looked bigger, right? Even in your own house, if you have a really cluttered space and you begin to put stuff where it go, or your car, things look bigger when you organize them. When you do a budget, you're going to find that ultimately, after a few months of doing a well-written budget, you have more money. When you're disciplined with the money and you put the money where it goes and you tell the money exactly what to do and you clean up the cluttered room of your money, you will have more money, right? That's the kicker. That's why it's really important to get organized. You'll have more money. You'll feel more at peace, right? You'll be more in control of your money. And it's a better way to live. It's more organization, right? Very important with a budget. Next thing in terms of managing your money is net worth, right? Managing your money is not just about an income statement, right? Which is what a budget is, right? Budget is income and expenses, like a income statement. But managing your money is also about the balance sheet, right? The balance sheet is assets and liabilities. And that's what net worth is. Figuring out what your assets are and then subtracting your liabilities, right? That's your net worth. You want to focus on your net worth, right? I challenge you guys to figure out your net worth at least 2 times a year, right? At least, right? If you do that 2 times a year, figure your net worth. That means get out a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be fancy. You can do it on a spreadsheet if you like. Get out a piece of paper, spreadsheet, and start writing down left side all of your assets, the things you own, right? And the value of the things you have. Like, you know, your car, you will put it on the asset side, right? You'll put it on the asset side. But if you make a payment on it, then that goes on the goes on the liability side because you owe on it, right? So it's your assets. If you have a home, you put your home on the left side of the paper. On the right side of the paper, you put the mortgage that you owe on the home, but you put the worth on the left side of the paper, the asset side. Now, I know there's, I'm not going to get into the controversy of whether a home is an asset or a liability or whether a car, we know a car is pretty much a liability for the most part, but if it's worth something, if you have a Mercedes Benz, it's a 2022, 2024 Mercedes Benz, and it's worth $40,000, that's $40,000. But if you owe 35,000, that goes on the other side, the liability side. You owe 35,000. It's what you own minus what you owe. But figure it twice a month, if I'm twice a year at least. If you figure it twice a year, it's going to grow. I guarantee you, because anything you begin to focus on grows. Everything you focus on will grow, right? Gets better, gets bigger, and it grows in the direction that you want it to grow, right? So if you're doing a net worth, you want to increase your assets, you want to lower your liabilities. Just having that in your mind and you figuring this every couple times a year or 3 times a year or whatever, it's going to begin to grow. Your net worth will begin to grow, right? I figure my net worth because I think it's a snapshot of my wealth. And it's a snapshot of whether or not I'm making the right financial decisions, right? Keeping my assets high and reducing my liabilities. Big push that I've done for many, many years. And that's one of the things that really helped me grow my net worth to where it is today, is by focusing on the net worth. Now, I know some people do it once a month and all that. You don't have to do it that frequently, right? Because the value of some of the larger items are not going to change that big month to month, right? But over the course of 6 months or 4 months, if you do it 3 times a year, they do change. Now, another thing I want to mention about money management is that really leads me to the fourth thing, which is debt payoff. Okay. When we're talking about managing our money, then we have to be talking about managing our behavior with money. This means getting rid of the debt on things that's going down in value, right? If you ever want to build wealth, you have to reduce your debt and get rid of the debt on depreciating things. Now, I don't care what you hear about the wealthy, right? And what you hear about rich people and how you think rich people leverage money, which some do, right? But listen, guys, I'm not sitting here telling you on this live video. I'm not here telling you to be Elon Musk. I'm not trying to show you how to be like the Waltons, the people that own Walmart, or Oprah Winfrey, or Bill Gates, or any billionaire. I'm not trying to teach you how to be a billionaire, right? I'm trying to teach you how to manage the money you have, and ultimately you could become a millionaire, right? But I'm not teaching you how to live like the people that make $5 billion a year. That's a little impractical to me, right? You can do it at some point one day. That's not the goal. The goal for me is to help you figure out how to manage this $40,000 you make per year. How to get more money so now you can make $100,000 or $200,000 a year, and you can build your net worth to $1 million, to $2 million, to $3 million. I'm not worried about the dude that has $75 billion, right? I don't want to live like him necessarily, right? So the average person with $1 million net worth, they're not out leveraging 700,000 to make 800,000 or leveraging 2 million to make 4 million, right? Some do, and that's cool. They're out there. But I'm not worried about the person that's dealing with that much money. I just want to get you to a spot where if you want to do that, cool, right? Nothing wrong with it. But study after study after study and book after book that I've read on regular American people who are millionaires, most of them don't carry a ton of debt. They just don't carry a ton. I'm not saying they don't have no debt. Some of them do, and that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But they don't carry a lot of debt on depreciating assets, right? They don't carry a lot of debt on things that's going down in value. Most of them they might carry no debt, or they carry a little bit of debt, low amounts, but their assets far exceed their liabilities, right? If your assets are 1.5 million and your liabilities is 200,000 and you want to leverage some of this that's cool, right? But if your net worth is $60,000, right? You want to be a little bit careful about leveraging, all right? Because you just don't have that wiggle room to play. So I'm telling you to lower your debts on things that's going down in value. You can use a debt snowball. You can use the Avalanche. You can use Dave Ramsey. I don't care who you use, right? Whatever it takes. But, as we speak right now, quick word about me. 3 weeks away from being totally out of debt, except for my rental properties. Now, the only thing left to pay is a few little small medical bills, right? But if you watch this channel, if you follow this channel, you'll know that about a month ago, I did a video about getting totally out of student loan debt finally. All right. Now, I might drop that video below. I think I'm going to drop that video below in the description box too, because finally out of all debt, and except for a few rental properties and a primary residence. So I'm excited about that. I hope you guys stick around and subscribe to the channel, right? So you can be there for that video that comes out. No, now, another thing I want to talk about in terms of managing money is please, 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 I'm begging you, if you want to have a strong foundation with your finances and you want to have some peace of mind, less stress, less anxiety, please get an emergency fund. Please get some emergency savings. And when you get your emergency savings, it's fine to keep it somewhere where it's liquid, a bank, an online account, somewhere where you can tap into it quickly. You're not trying to grow an emergency fund. You're not trying to get 9%, 10% ROI, return on investment, on your money you put in an emergency fund. You need to have investments that you're trying to grow. Your emergency fund is just like it says, for emergencies, because listen, things will happen. Things will come up. You're going to have the tires go out, the washing machine fail, the stove is going to go out, the heating and venting cooling unit is going to mess up. You're going to have a plumbing issue in the house, right? Something is going to happen, and you do not want to be at the strip mall, at the payday loan place, getting a 25% loan because you have no emergency money. You don't want to be pawning at the pawn shop because you don't have any money. Have an emergency fund, right? More than half the people in America have a hard time coming up with $1,000. Don't be that person. Even if it means you stop what you're doing and build up your 3 to 6 months, or stop what you're doing and at least build up to $2,000 or $3,000 initially, whatever it takes, have some money, right? I cannot stress this one enough, guys. You got to have some money when it comes to your finances. It's going to give you a foundation, and it's going to give you some peace of mind. Even if you got to do this slow. Let's say you get paid every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, put $200 towards your emergency money. And it may be painful for some people. Just do it for about 2 years, right? Or put $500 a month, right? And stop worrying about trying to, invest in a bunch of stuff. Go ahead and get your emergency fund together. Right? I don't mind you doing a little bit of investing, but you got to think about an emergency fund because things will come up. A little bonus also, since we're talking about managing money. Be sure you're giving and helping other people with your money, guys, right? People who are less fortunate or causes that you believe in. Make sure it could be tithing. I don't care what it is. You just make sure you need to be giving something away every single time you get paid to help somebody else besides you. And again, another principle of wealth, giving, helping, not just hoarding it all up for you, helping other people that need help. Very, very important. And that's a huge piece of what I started doing back in 2001. I started giving on a regular basis every single time I get paid, at the very top of my budget, before food, before all that, is giving. Believe it or not, still do it to this day. And guess what? In that same 22 years that I've built my wealth from negative $30,000 to where I'm today, 7 figures, I've gave the whole way through. Never missed a dime of it, because it's a principle. It's a law, right? That cannot be defeated, right? You're not going to go broke giving and helping other people. It just doesn't work like that. The world doesn't work like that. God, the universe doesn't work like that. You be a giver. Very important. I want to throw that bonus in there, guys. Giving was a major piece to me changing my financial life, and it helped change my philosophy and form a different philosophy for me when it came time for how I thought about money. Guys, listen, we got more, right? Got several more things I want to talk about. But if you're getting anything out of this, any value, please smash the like button for me, okay? But below, if you're on YouTube, smash the like button, subscribe to Smart Money Bro on YouTube, and turn your notifications on so you get notifications. We talk about money management. We talk about the U.S. economy, updates on the Fed rate hikes and what's going on there in terms of our money and our jobs. We also talk about real estate, because I've owned real estate for 20 plus years and managed my own real estate. So We talk about all those things, about really practical ways that regular people can start to build wealth. Nothing crazy, fancy. I'm not going to give you 25 ways to make $75,000 tomorrow. I'm not That's not this channel, right? We don't really do that, but I give you ways to make money and ways that you can actually do it in real life for real people, okay? Let's jump to the third major thing. We talked about money mindset. We talked about money management. Now let's talk about money mainstays. Now, what is a mainstay? This is about, are you taking advantage of what you already have available to you as a person that's trying to build their wealth? Are you contributing to your 401k, right? Or your 403b or whatever retirement plan that your job has? And then what percentage are you contributing to some of this low hanging fruit? And I call it low hanging fruit because there's a lot of people that have access to retirement planning through their jobs. They don't do it. They just don't contribute to it, or they do it and they only give the little minimum 3%, 2%, right? 1%, 4%. Stretch. Again, this is about getting rid of the fear, right? Stretch out and say, you know what, I'm going to step out on a limb, right? And you're probably saying, well, stocks are real low right now. I don't want to invest in stock. This is the best time to be investing in the stock market in quite a while because everything is for sale. Many things are for sale. Undervalued stocks and ETFs and index funds and mutual, they're out there right now. You should be investing. So are you contributing to your job's 401k? Do you even know what your job offers in terms of a retirement plan, right? Do you know what percentage your job matches? Right? Don't leave the free money on the table. If your job matches up to 6%, put 6% in. If I told you if you put in a $200, I'll throw in another $200 to help you down the road. Why wouldn't you put in $200? So I give you $200. You're leaving free money on the table, right? Don't leave the free money. Go ahead and get the match. It's okay, right? But also at the same time, do you know what your job invests your money in? What are the different options that you have to choose from when you're investing in that 401k at your job, right? A lot of people, they just don't know some of these real basic things about what's available to them right now at their fingertips, right? Some of you can go on your HR online right now or on your phone and look and pull up the information that you don't know. You should know, right? When I talk to people about their money and their money situation, which I do on a very regular basis, I'll ask people, what does your job offer retirement plan? And a lot of people have no clue. Or they have a sketchy memory. Well, I think we did. I'm not really sure. Listen, you got to know what's available so you can be taking advantage of what's available. If you don't know what's available, you're missing the boat. You're missing the boat. You should know exactly what investment choices you have in the 401k, and you may not even like it. Listen, if you don't like it, go ahead and get their match, right? You might want to get their match depending on what they're investing in. You want to, let's say there's a 5% match at your job, get the 5% match, and you can take all your other investing somewhere else. Or maybe you just absolutely don't like it and you want to open up a brokerage account on Fidelity or Charles Schwab or Vanguard, whatever it may be. But the point is, know what your job is offering. Do you know the rules? If you leave your job, what's going to happen to the money you've been putting into your retirement account at your job if you get terminated, or if you decide to take another job somewhere else? Do you know what the rules for transferring the money from your job's retirement plan to the next job's retirement plan? Do you know the possible penalties you'll face if you withdraw that money? The possible penalties you will face if you get a loan on that money and don't pay the loan back? Or what are some of the loan terms? Do you know the possible penalties if you leave a job and you tell them to send you the money, and it's $50,000, but by the time they send it to you, all the penalties come out and you only get a check for $25,000, right? You need to know. You need to go to your HR and say, HR, how do I transfer my retirement savings out of here to another job? Do I transfer? Do I roll over? Right? Two separate terms that you got to know, and you should know the process for that at your job. The process of your retirement account when you separate service with that employer, right? So one of the best ways to utilize and maximize what you currently have is to know what you have. Know what is available on your job, right? Don't leave, and then don't skimp on it. Again, step up, go ahead and put 10% in there, right? Do increase the amount you put towards your job's retirement plan 1% every 6 months. And after 2 years, so you start off at 3%, you want to go higher. And so 1 year later, you're at 5%. 1 year later, you're at 7%, right? Then 3 years down the road, you're at 9%, right? 5 years down the road, you're putting in 13% every time you get a raise or something like that at your job, a cost of living increase every year or some type of raise. Go ahead and increase your percentage that you're putting in towards your retirement, because your retirement is the future you, right? The best person to take care of the old you is the young you, the you right now, right? So you have to be thinking about the 70-year-old you that needs to pay rent, the 70-year-old you that needs to go buy some food, or the 70-year-old you, 60-year-old you that wants to take a vacation. Think about that person today while you're 30, while you're 40, while you're 25, while you're 50. Think about the old you, because they need you. They don't need grandkids. They don't need somebody to take care of them. They need the young you, right? Another thing in terms of money mainstays, are you valuable at your job? Right? Now, listen, I'm not a person that talks down about jobs. There's nothing wrong with a job. Everybody's not going to be a millionaire, a business owner, right? There's nothing wrong with people having a job. Okay. But just make sure you're using that job to your benefit, right? You're saving up money for your future, for your family and yourself. You're getting a skill, right? Maybe you're learning how to run the business in case you want to start your own business, but just use that job. Don't let the job just use you just to pay your bills and live, right? Try to make sure that you're using the job to your advantage, right? Are you valuable on your job? Are you next up for promotion? Are you in line to get bonuses, right? Are you a leader at your job? Are you highly proficient and skilled at what you do? Are you a go-to person that says, you know what, hey, I wonder if so and so's here. Is Andre here? Andre knows everything about those boom 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 boom, whatever it may be. You got to be the go-to person, because you got to be the person that they say, we can't lose Andre. We can't lose Andre, because if we lose Andre, that's too much knowledge walking out the door. That has to be you. Okay. Trust me, guys, when you become the type of person like that on your job, you don't always get laid off so quick, right? Another thing about money mainstays is what you already have. Take good care of what you have, right? When I say take good care of what you have, I'm from the time and era when I had grandparents that didn't have a whole lot, didn't have much, but they took care of what they had. Just because they didn't make a whole lot of money and they were poor and didn't have much, it doesn't mean the house has to be sloppy and filthy, right? It doesn't mean there can be cars strewn all out in front of the yard. It doesn't mean the grass can't be cut. It doesn't mean it has to be trash outside of your home just because you don't have much, right? Poverty doesn't mean raggedy, right? Being poor doesn't mean that you have to carry yourself poor, look like you're poor, act like you're poor just because you don't have much. Take care of what you have right now. That's going to set you up to get more. That's going to set you up to have more. Because listen, if you can't take care of $20,000 a year and you mismanage it, you're not going to be able to take care of $40,000 a year. If you mismanage $40,000 a year, you're going to mismanage $400,000 a year, right? I guarantee you. It's another law, right? It's a principle. You got to take care of what you have, and then start where you are right now. Listen, the world is not equal. Every person, every person doesn't start on the same level. John starts here, Mary starts here, Joseph starts here, Eric starts here. You got to start where you are and not worry about John that started here and you that started right here, right? You got to start where you are and build where you are, right? Very important to understand that, guys. Be grateful for what you have while you're working on getting more, while you're working hard to become more, right? Be grateful for where you are and what you have while you're working to become more. You're trying to become more, right? So, another thing about money mainstays, you may have a lot of opportunities right in front of you that you're just not taking advantage of. Again, utilize all the opportunities you have, the low hanging fruit. Make the best of what you got. That sets you up for more. Now, Now, the last area that I'm gonna wrap about, guys, is we talked about money mindset, we talked about money management, and we talked about money mainstays, your mainstay, what you have right now. The last area that I want to talk about is what I call money multipliers. And this is where it gets a little fun, right? Because money multipliers really talks about how you can grow your income. Let me just stop for a second and just look at a couple of the comments that have come in. Appreciate it. Bully the money, roll it over and don't touch it. Excellent comments. Appreciate your comment right there. That's 100% true. All right, let's talk about money multipliers. You got to think about, wait, now listen, I saved this one for last because it is last. Okay. In other words, a lot of people try to make more money before they change the way they think, before they work on taking advantage of what they have, and before they manage what they have. People jump to number four. They jump to money multipliers, right? They want to make more money. How do I make more money? I want to increase my income. I want to start a business, right? I want to do a side gig. But listen, again, the first three things I talked about, that's the foundation, right? If you don't, what good is it to make more money if you don't manage the money you already got? What good is it to make more money if you're not even taking advantage of your job's investments that they have right in front of you every day? What good is it to make more money if you're not thinking right? Right? What good is it to work on your credit if you still got the same poor behaviors? So the point in putting this one last, increasing your income, is because you really should be doing all the other things first before you go out and get more money, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with getting more money. You want to increase your income. I want you to increase your income, but I want you to make sure you don't put more money on top of bad behaviors with money, more money on poor money management, right? More money on top of a poor money mindset, right? More money on top of a scarcity mindset, right? So take care of those things. But yes, please, let's talk about increasing your income because that's very important. So you ultimately you want to increase your income, right? To rescue your finances and help change your financial situation. Side gigs, side hustles. Let's figure out how you can bring in more money. Listen, today, guys, right now today, there's so many ways that you can make more money. You can make so much money from home, right? You can do things like VIP kids, VIP kids, where you if you have I think someone you don't have to have a college degree, but you can teach kids in China how to speak English right from your own computer, right? I mean, there's so much you can do and make $20 an hour doing that. There's a lot of different things you can do. Some of the things, let me just share some of the things that I've done in terms of increasing my income. I do voiceovers. So I do voiceover work. I get a lot of voiceover work. I won't say a lot, but I get some voiceover work. It's hard to do a lot with voiceovers while I'm doing a lot with on YouTube. I do YouTube, right? I got monetized on YouTube about 3 months ago. So I get a little small extra money from YouTube, not a ton, but it's growing. This channel is growing tremendously, guys. So I do voiceovers. I sell digital products, right? What is a digital product? Anything that you can put in like a PDF form, whether it's a sign, a poster, a sticker, whatever you want to put. It could be a cheat sheet, it could be recipes, whatever you want to put that you can PDF. You make it and create it one time using whatever platform, Canva, or maybe even Microsoft Publisher. You just make whatever you want to make and you sell it. And there's many different places you can sell it. You can use WooCommerce, Gumroad, you name it. Lots of places where you can sell digital products, right? And you only got to make them one time, but you can sell them forever, right? So I do digital products too. I have a few of those on my website. You can start a podcast, right? You can make a site, you can make real estate your side gig, right? You can do a lot. You can start investing in dividend stocks, right? Individual stocks, get you a bunch of them so you can spread your risk around, but you can start investing in individual stocks to actually have some income, some residual income. You can write a blog. If you write a blog and you have, AdSense or you have some type of sponsorship, you can make money. Nowadays, there's so many ways. And everything I just mentioned, from the blog to the digital products to the real estate to the voiceovers to digital, all those things I do. I do them and I've done them. Now, eBay, I was a big player in eBay for about 7 years, from 2013 to 2020. I made, just doing eBay part time, I made over $100,000 doing eBay in those 6, 7 years right there, just doing it part time, right? Going out and finding things that were undervalued, buying them low, right? And when I say buying them low, I used to go to estate sales, Goodwills, garage sales. You would be shocked. We live in a society of excess. You would be shocked at the things people give away that were expensive. And the main thing, 95% of everything I sold was shoes, and not just sneakers, right? I mainly sold men's and women's shoes. You'd be shocked at what a person would pay for some diabetic shoes, right? Some shoes to help people with with their feet, right? Or some men's dress shoes, right? I would sell these. I'd take these things. I would clean them up, take them home. One time I bought a $1 Coach bag, Coach purse. It was just an old leather purse. Took it home, refurbished it, got it all together. Boom, sold it for 300 or 400,000. Listen, the point is that I was a big player in eBay. Still have 90 items on eBay today. I just don't focus too much on doing a lot of sourcing, but big player in eBay for a lot of years because I learned how to make money on the side using the internet, right? And I learned to do eBay by watching YouTube back in 2013, 2014. My point is there's so many different ways to make money online, right? You could also offer whatever services or skills that you have. Listen, if you've been in a job 5 years, you got a skill. I don't care if you've been a custodian for 5 years, you got a skill, right? If you've been a cook for 10 years, you got a skill. If you've been a waiter or a server for 25 or 15 years, you got a skill. You have a skill. Even if you're an administrative clerk and you're into organizing and help, you got a skill. You could sell that skill. You could monetize that skill that you've taken up, that you've grown at your jobs for the last 5, 10, 15, 25 years. Use that skill, right? You could sell that skill, or even if you have a service, maybe you are good at putting together online resumes. Maybe you're good at proofreading. Go to a place like Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, or Upwork, and you can begin to sell your skill, right? And people will pay you for your skill, and you offer your services online. Look, you can write an ebook, write a book about your skill, right? Offer some coaching about your skill, right? Some type of coaching or course. Write a quick course. Your course don't have, if you write a course, it doesn't have to be a 2-hour course. It could be a 15-minute course that you sell for $9.99, right? The point is, there are so many ways to make extra money from your living room couch, right? What is your skill set? Matter of fact, what is your gift, right? What type of talents do you have that is easy for you, but hard for most people? But it's easy because you've been doing it for a long time and you just got a natural talent, a natural gift. Monetize it, right? So many ways to increase your income that you would not believe it. The key here is to make more money, right? Find out ways to make more money. That's what you want to do. So listen, guys, we talked about 4 areas: how you think, managing your money, taking advantage of the money mainstays, and increasing your income. Listen, I don't want to make it a long one. I think it's been a long one already. But hey, if you guys got a question, you got a comment, something you want to say, please drop it below. Smash the like button for me. I'm here once a week to have a live and go live and talk about money, real estate, economy, etc. But that's what I do on a weekly basis. I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you so much. And listen, as I always say, and by the way, I hope I was able to offer you guys some good information about what you can do to actually change your financial situation. These things that I mentioned are things that I employed and used over the last 20 some odd years to grow my net worth, guys. And I just thought it would be prudent if I come on here and talk to you guys about it and hopefully give you guys some motivation, some type of encouragement, and also some inspiration to say, hey, there's a regular guy that he did it, and he started with nothing, never got a dime. Nobody gave me anything necessarily, but he started with nothing. If he can do it, then I can do it too. That's my whole goal here, guys. So, hey, I always say this at the end of every broadcast. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and share the video with others. And you guys, I'm just looking at a few of the messages. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, RM Perez 529. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And the channel's growing. Thanks to you guys being avid viewers and watchers and listeners. Share the video with somebody you think needs to hear this message. And listen, the best person that's going to take care of the old you, like I said earlier, is the young you. Guys, do me a favor. Please take care of yourself and always take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.